Hear me?
I got you.
Cool. All right, we're 20 seconds away. I'll do a quick intro, then I'll toss to you.
Am I filing a report or are we having a conversation?
Just file a report so you can be done with me.
Okay. All right, got
or
it.
Or whatever you want. Maybe I'll have a question. Who knows? We'll find out. Jeff Slauson here from 19 News Now at the 19 News Digital Desk. We have some breaking news in the world of sports here as Terry Francona, the longtime manager of the Cleveland Guardians, officially has stepped down as manager. However, we were updated on exactly what his status will be post-managerial career. And with that, we bring in colleague and friend Mark Schwab, who can break down this latest for us. And Mark, yeah, it's not like Tito's going to be leaving the area, it seems. Still sticking around the facility?
So he's going to stay. First of all, in the immediate future, he's going to have a surgery next week. He says he needs a couple. I know one's on his shoulder. I can't remember where the other one is. He's going to stay around for a couple of weeks, make sure everything's okay there, and going the way it needs to be. And then he's going to head back to Tucson. That's where his home is. Whenever he is on the other side of these procedures and kind of just back to normal, he is going to maintain a role with the organization. I kind of figured that would happen, but that news officially came out today. That was negotiated into the last time he signed a contract with them. What that role is, honestly, remains to be seen. They will sort it out. What makes sense for him, what makes sense for them. You don't know how much he's going to want to do. He seems to be somebody that's looking forward to being able to live life and just go on a golf outing with his buddies. Go golfing or go swimming or whatever it is, and to be able to do those activities in good health with a body that's not fighting him. This is a guy that had to retire as a player in baseball because his body was breaking down. And even throughout his life as a manager, he would run into things. And he spent time over the last few years here in Cleveland, where even a couple of years ago he had to step away from the season after July to go get some things taken care of. He rejoined the team in spring training. He's looking forward to get healthy and just being able to do some things. And 40-plus years as a baseball lifer is a long time, Jeff. It's many, many times of asking, when's the flight, when's batting practice, when's this, when's that. He sounded a little bit like a guy maybe retiring from any other job. It's time for a break. Someday we'll get there, Jeff. Someday.
Yeah, probably not for me. The only thing I want to reach on before I let you go, because you're going to be appearing here on 19 News, is just how big of a deal this is for the Guardians themselves. They have not seen a new person as manager in a long time.
Yeah, he's been there 11 years. Before him, it was Manny Acta for 3 years. And Acta was really the only guy they had that didn't work out. Eric Wedge had a playoff run before that. Charlie Manuel went to the playoffs. Before that, Mike Hargrove went to the playoffs. So they have a track record of hiring managers that lead them to success. Nobody quite like Francona. He made one World Series appearance. Hargrove had two, but Terry did it longer and is the all-time leader in wins as a manager. So, here's the thing. Whoever they hire, that person's not, you never want to be the guy that follows up a legend. That guy's not going to be Terry Francona. Whoever he is, he will have to be himself. They're going to look in-house. They're going to look outside the organization. They'll do a good, strong search. Tito said he doesn't have to offer input on it. If they ask, of course, he'll offer it. But that's where things stand. Soon, the Help Wanted sign will be hung here at Progressive Field.
Mark Schwab, as always, thank you so much. We'll see you on 19 News at 5 o'clock.
You got it, buddy.
All right, now we will be able to hear from the man himself here. So Terry Francona spoke to the press, had a very long press conference, broke down each aspect of this. Wanted to touch on those parts with Mark here, but now I want to hear from the man himself. Without further ado, Terry Francona speaking as he steps down as the manager of the Cleveland Guardians.
I thought I'd start by just thanking Tito. I know it'll make him a little bit uncomfortable, but I need to do it. It's hard to believe that, October of 2012 is 11 years ago. The day, Tito decided to join the organization, we were filled with, hope and optimism about what the future might hold. And 11 years later, we get to look back and think about all that Tito has helped accomplish and the legacy that he and the imprint that he leaves, not only on the organization and the community, but on the individual lives of so many people. Tito is an extraordinary teammate, and that's probably where it starts. He is the person that is always thinking about other people and the organization ahead of himself. And he has helped set the bar for us on what that looks like and what that means to be a great teammate that's always thinking about others. As a leader, he helped build a culture of winning, but more importantly than that, a culture of deep care. He cared about individuals far more than anyone else. And he has a unique ability to bring a group of people together as a team aligned around a common purpose, and create a really fun environment along the way, and an environment where people always wanted to come to the ballpark and do their best. He found a unique way to bring out the best of everyone, whether that was coaches, players, front office staff. He made every single one of us better, and we're eternally grateful for that. But for each of those things, I think the thing that I know I'll be thinking about, and I know many others, is the impact he's had on each of us, whether that's coaches, players, front office members, people in the community. He's left an indelible mark on us as individuals. And so there's a range of emotions I've probably felt, and a number of us have felt over the last few weeks and few months. Certainly some sadness that Tito will be stepping away and stepping into a new role. But most importantly, and the thing I'm left with, is just an immense amount of gratitude for everything that Tito has given our organization, the players, the coaches, the support staff, everyone in the front office, and every member of our community. I think he has left an indelible legacy that will continue to impact the organization for years to come. And I think it's important to recognize that Tito has helped build a really strong foundation for us organizationally. Oftentimes when there's a change in the manager's position, it's because things have gone awry organizationally and there needs to be a massive change. Thankfully, that's not where we are. Obviously, this year didn't go the way we wanted, and we'll get a chance to talk about that. But we're in a really healthy place organizationally, and in large part thanks to Tito's contributions. So our opportunity now is to figure out how do we build from that? How do we create a future? How do we build on the foundation that's in place? And that's what we'll be focused on from this point forward. So with that, I'll open up unless you have anything you want to say. Sorry for being long-winded. We'll answer any questions you have.
Is that a new role?
Yeah, I mean, Tito and I and Mike have, contemplated, at different points in the past, whenever he got to the point that he would step aside as manager, that we would love to have him continue to work in some capacity to organization. So he will have a role with us moving forward. Exactly what that looks like will take some time to figure out. We don't have clear parameters around that, but he'll stay engaged with the organization in some way. But the first priority is, Tito getting healthy, taking care of himself. And then, at the right time, we'll talk about what's next.
Tito, did a 6-year deal at Arizona sign?
No, but it may look like it.
Are you leaving the door open, Tito, to possibly come back? I know you said over the last month or so that, you'll kind of see, you're not worrying about tomorrow.
I never was real concerned about the word retire, because I guess when you say retire, it's like, well, you're going home and not doing anything. I know I need to go home and get healthy and see what I miss about our game. And then maybe, after some time, see the best way to maybe quench that appetite, whatever it is. I don't foresee managing. Again, I don't have a crystal ball. Nobody does. Because if I was going to manage, I like doing it here. But I also don't want to just turn away from the game. Don't feel that way either. So we'll kind of see. And Chris and Cherny and the guys, they've been so good about this. We'll figure something out that makes sense. But until you know what it is, I just need some time. I mean, normally after a season, I need some time anyway. This is a little different.
I mean, has this been in the works all along that when you told us first in August that you hit it anyway, you would step it down as manager. Was this in the works all along that you would still have some role in the organization?
This was in the works when I signed my last contract. That's been
Yes.
a while.
I mean, I think we were clear that we wanted Tito to continue to manage here for as long as he was able to. And then if at some point that ended, we contemplated continue having a relationship with him in some role once he stepped aside. So whenever that happened, we had thought about this in advance.
There's not many times when, like Chris said, when a manager leaves, I mean, the first press conference, everybody hugs, get a uniform. There's not many when you're going to hug after the second one. So it's just a little bit different, and it's not a bad thing at all. It's great.
What kind of input will you have on your replacement, if any?
I don't need to. Chris and Sharon, we talk so much about everything, but I was kind of clear to them that, I mean, I've been in this job for 11 years, and I certainly have my way of doing things, for better or worse. And the next guy that comes in, they need to find the next guy that they can hopefully spend 11 years with and have as much fun and hopefully a ton of success. It doesn't need to be my parameters. I don't think that's fair to these guys. If they ask me questions, sure, I'll be happy to keep, but that's all it is.
Chris, do you see yourself going outside the organization or internal for Tito replacement?
We'll consider both internal and external candidates.
Terry, Chris had said you always had a way of bringing out the best in others, organization, players, coaching. You got a reputation for getting guys to play hard for you. How have you always got players to buy in? Maybe even more so than they had on somebody.
Well, if I had the exact answer, I'd be wealthier. I think it starts with being honest, and think when you develop relationships with players, you not only have the ability to ask things that are kind of, it's a big ask, but you can have difficult conversations with them also, and you don't lose them because you develop relationships. But I just kind of been honest with them. Like we don't run to first because of how it looks. We run hard to first because we think it puts us in a better position to win. And at the same time, and our players don't know this, I've told them this a million times, the same guy that'll run to first when he's frustrated is the same guy that's going to show up on time. It's the same guy that's going to back up bases. It carries over into the whole game. And that's why we spend so much time on it.
Terry, when you think of the biggest what ifs, look back in your career, the rain delay in 2016 in Game 7, what do you think happens if it doesn't?
I don't do what ifs. I really never have. When I got hurt as a young player, I moved on. I viewed it as an opportunity, even when I'd go back to the minor leagues. I'd stay in you guys have been around me so much, I stay in the moment. And I think it's the best way to handle whatever comes at you. And then you try to learn from what happened, but I don't do that, whether it's when we won or when we lost. Just do the best you can, and you make the best decisions you can and move on.
Terry, when you look back at your 11 years here, there is a particular moment that stands out the most from others that you always kind of reflect on?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's an easy one. In 16, the Larry Doby Fund, that was by far the most proud moment since I've been here. And I've had a lot of good ones with these guys, but that was by far, when you can come together that quickly in a matter of about a day and a half and get the team. And this is, I'm talking about, like, once we got the players involved, then we got Paul and John Sherman was here. And we kind of gave them a pretty big ask. And I remember they were like, we don't have the exact, but do it and we'll figure it out. In other words, do it. So that was it was to the point where I didn't do a very good job I had a little thing I read to the media that day, and I didn't do a very good job because it was so hard for me to keep my poise because I was so proud. I wish I'd done a better job.
Did you do a good job of soaking this up the last month or so? A lot of people have said some nice things about it. Have you enjoyed it?
You know what? Oh boy, I don't even know how to, it's hard to answer. I mean, what happened the last game, it was touching. I was uncomfortable as hell. But it was very touching. I think what's more important to me is I didn't have to spend the last month doing anything different. I had 11 years of it here. That's what is so good. That's why I'm not sad. This has been, man, I was telling Christian, I know the bar's low, but I'm a way better person now for coming here. This has been good, man. I came here for the right reasons. I think I'm leaving for the right reasons. And in between, it's been really good. And that doesn't mean we haven't been challenged. We get challenged all the time. But doing it with people you respect and care about, and care about you, is really good.
You talked about how much you like this team, even though you're not going to be back managing them next year. Did you talk to guys individually about their future, what they should be looking to do going forward?
Well, okay, so that's a good question. I talked to a lot of guys, obviously, because I was not going to be back. The exit meetings, I didn't think, and Chris asked me about this, I didn't think I necessarily needed to be in those meetings because you're talking about what's expected of you next year. And I'm not going to be the manager. So I didn't think that made sense. But the guys I've talked to, they know how I feel. And, so that's it's not something that wasn't spoken. I just thought I didn't need to be a part of those exit meetings.
Was part of the exit meetings on the organization side?
It depended upon the player. We involved Carl Willis with our pitching group, and then Mike and I mostly met with the position players.
You said being here made you a better person. What would you say you've learned about yourself as a person?
Oh boy, I probably shouldn't have said that because now I'm going to have to get in depth. I don't know. I try hard to do the right thing. I don't do the right thing a lot of times, but I try hard to do the right thing for everybody else around. It's just an environment here where it's been we from the first day, and it's not always like that. And I've enjoyed that. And I think we've all made each other better because we've all kind of had each other's backs. And when shit goes south, it wasn't like who did it. It's like, how do we make it better? And sometimes we were more successful than others, but that's just how we went about it. And I'm proud of that.
Since you are so tight with players, the new role, whatever it might be, and would you expect to have direct contact with players?
I think I'm allowed to talk to them, right? I think I'm allowed to talk to them. Again, I don't even know. We don't even know what. I envision maybe going to see some of the minor leagues, things like that. I don't need to be the new manager's sitting on his shoulder. That's not what this is about. But we can get to that. There's time.
Chris, a question away from Tito for a second, just about attendance this year. I think there was only one other team that actually increased attendance year over year more than you guys, like 41%. Obviously, a lot of changes in baseball last offseason, but is there any one particular one that you attribute such an attendance?
Well, I'm not sure I'm the best person to answer that, but I think it's a combination of factors. The thing I can say clearly is there was a dramatically different and energized environment in the ballpark that I know from players, staff, everyone really appreciated the energy that was in the ballpark, maybe more consistently than over the past few years. So hopefully we can continue to build on that momentum, and we continue to believe we have one of the the most beautiful ballparks in baseball to watch and enjoy baseball games. And if we can put a compelling team on the field and marry those two things, hopefully more people will continue to come out.
Well, I was cleaning out your office.
What's that?
I was cleaning out your office.
The clubhouse kids kind of shockingly did the majority of it before I got here. I think they were afraid of the ramifications. So I got a lot of junk in there, man. I kind of punted to send it back to Arizona. I'll go through it at some point because there's a lot of stuff in there.
The mouse included?
I did not see the mouse yet.
Procedurally, will you have your surgeries up here and then you go back?
Yeah, next Wednesday. And I'll probably need to stay here for a little bit just because of all the issues I've had, I'd really rather stay away from those again. So probably take a little while.
Right now that the season's over, what is your message to the fans that are still, besides you and rooting for you and looking forward to next year? What's your message to them?
Well, I think Chris said it really well a minute ago. I mean, I think the organization is healthy. This year did not go like we had hoped, for probably a number of reasons. Anytime you have good young pitching, it makes everybody's glass look a little more full, and we have that here. I think it's an easy team to root for. They're good kids, man. They try hard. They don't get in trouble. My time here, I've loved it, and I've never tried to stay away from not saying that. Shoot, man, I grew up 2 hours from here, and it's the same Midwest kind of place, and it's something I've thoroughly enjoyed. And I've felt like I'm part of us since the day I got here, and I will still feel that way.
Harry, did you have the feeling in spring training before that and after that this might be the last year? Or did this just unfold as the season unfolded?
I think the last couple years, I remember talking to Cherney a couple times, maybe even a couple years ago, like things that maybe I was thinking, but not ready to do, but starting to think about things down the road. But this year, especially around June, because I worked so hard last winter to try to get healthy, and I came to spring training relatively healthy for me. It's hard. Like the older you get, the harder it gets. And to do the job the way I think you need to do it, I wasn't really able to do that. And that bothered me. And so I was having these internal discussions. That was kind of starting to piss me off. Then when I finally talked to Chris and Cherney, I felt way better. And I knew it was the right decision because I felt better after I talked to him.
Chris, you've made it pretty clear how much respect you have for Tito, and I know you're going through this process of trying to figure out how that role is going to be filled. You made it clear what you like about him, but what are you looking for in the next manager? What qualities are most important to try to figure out this right?
Yeah, I think we continue to look for a partner to help us lead the organization, someone who can hopefully help us build upon the foundation we have, but also, challenge us to think about things differently. I think that's one of the things I've really treasured about the dynamic we have with Tito is we all have very different views of the world. And I think we're at our best when we can, have a productive dialogue back and forth and explore all different avenues and ways we can attack the challenges that we have. And so hopefully we can find a leader that's aligned and shares similar beliefs and similar values, but can help us grow and get better as an organization.
Chris, is there an ideal time you'd like to have that manager in place?
Yeah, ideally it's as soon as possible, but reality often conflicts with what would be ideal. So like I said, we'll continue internal and external candidates. And the most important thing is that we get to the right person. And if we can do that quickly, great. But if it takes us, a month or longer, then that's the necessary time frame. But the most important thing is getting the right person.
Chris, have you been encouraged by people who reach out or the interest in the scene so far with the job?
Yeah, I don't think our challenge will be lack of interest in the job.
Hey, Chris, you've been mentioned as a possible candidate to replace James Newman in Boston. Are you sticking around here?
I am very happy in Cleveland, Jeff. I fully intend to be here moving forward. Maybe a better question for Paul, but yeah.
How different will the process be now as opposed to 11 years ago when you were hiring Tito?
It's funny, we actually, as a starting point in the process, we went back and looked back on what our process looked like when we hired Tito. And I think we'll carry some of those same things forward, but one of the things we try to do as an organization is continue to learn and get better. And there are some things we'll do a little bit differently this time.
What are some things you're looking forward to in terms of just being away and maybe some things you don't get to do when you're managing? Something like that.
I want to be healthy enough where I can golf, where I can swim. I swim now, but Chris knows I have one nice stroke and then I have this one here. It's like not a lot of fun. My buddies in Tucson are arranging a golf trip to Ireland next summer. They've done it 3 or 4 times. I've never done it. Basically from February 15th to August or October or whatever, I've never done. So we'll see. It'll be nice to just be able to do something if I want to. Like it really hit me, and I think I was telling these guys the day I had my my little monitor put in my chest. They did it before a day game here, and I was coming back to the ballpark. It's about 9:30 in the morning, and I'm riding down Euclid, and I'm like, man, people were walking around. Somebody's sitting having a cup of coffee. I'm like, what are they? Nobody's rushing. And it kind of hit me because I'm like, I've always been like, okay, I got to be here at 9 o'clock. I got to be here. We get BP's at 4:30. I'm going to be okay not having that. It's been 40 something years of that. That's ready to rest a little bit and let somebody else be in charge. It's been hard. That part's been hard for me because as many of you know, I'm not very. My life can be a little disorderly. That's just, so, but to be successful, I think you have to be everything needs to be right on time, like in spring training. That's not hard. For me, that takes a lot of work and a lot of coaches, but it isn't something that comes easy.
You devote more time to being clean and orderly at your house and stuff, or where you going?
If I said yes, nobody would believe me.
Your first press conference here 11 years ago, you said that you had the opportunity to do broadcasting. Do you think we'll ever see you on our television sometime in the future when it's all said and done?
Oh boy, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. If I was going to travel, I'd probably stay doing this job. There's reasons I'm stepping down. I haven't really thought about it. I'm being truthful. I don't know. There's not a team in Tucson, so that would we'll see. I don't know what I'm going to do. Kind of looking forward to getting home and not thinking about it and kind of see how things kind of come together and what I miss, because I don't know what that's going to be.
So that is the last time you'll hear from Terry Francona as the manager of the Cleveland Guardians. He officially stepped down today. You're looking at a live look at Progressive, where our Mark Schwab will be live during our next hour to kind of break down the decision and ultimately what Tito will be doing in the future, and looking ahead at where the Guardians go from here. A new manager for the first time in 11 years. All right, that is it for your stream here on Terry Francona. We will have much more to come on 19 News Our newscast continues for the next hour over on CBS.
19 News, now streaming on Samsung Smart TV. Search for channel 1035.